Yo, how's it going, Ilion? I know that we said we were gonna go on a cool trip to ski school or something this summer, but I got bad news, bro. I got bad news. I failed my English class.
Oh man, no, bro. I give that 2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs down. Guess who's gonna have to go to summer school?
What?
Dogs, they're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
Hey, they're the dog people, aren't they?
Tension breaker had to be done.
Mark Harmon.
You need an intelligent, sensitive man who can skate.
Kirstie Alley.
Do you know such a guy?
Oh, they're hard to find.
And the Oceanfront High Summer School class of 87.
They're as smart as you and me. You and I. All of us.
Paramount Pictures presents a new film by Carl Reiner, Summer School.
I love this film. It had passion and a plucky spirit. Dave, I agree with you. Thumbs up from me. Same here. To sum it up, I'm Chainsaw. I'm Dave. We'll see you at the movies.
Well, anyway, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Rough Guts.
Welcome to Rough Guts.
I'm Boix. That's Ilion. I asked specifically if we wanted a trick or a treat.
Waving to the camera like
they can see.
Me.
Don't worry.
Hey, that's me.
You might be checked out. I don't know why.
I'm trying to wake up. I am trying to wake up.
You see, we watched a wacky comedy for our podcast about dogs, where we watch movies and then rate the dogs at the end. Typically bad films, like Summer School.
This movie was like a glass of warm milk. It's been left out for 5 or 6 days.
And curdling. It like if you poured Pepsi into it and made pilk.
Oh god, a nice warm glass of pilk. Yeah, put me right to sleep.
Yum.
This movie did I struggled to stay awake for this thing.
Yeah. So Summer School, 87. This is after the Breakfast Club, after your typical delinquents in detention movies that were very popular.
Yeah, like you were saying, Breakfast Club. You had a few others that you named originally too. Yeah, and I was saying I get the feeling it might be more Porky's.
More Porky's. I think by the end of it, it's more Nukem High.
I was gonna say as we figured out, we were both correct.
Yeah,
which is a interesting decision.
It straddles the line of trying to be by the books and trying to be quirky and horny.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends up just not being good at either, is what really happens. But it stars Mark Harmon.
Yeah. And
somebody who has shown up on the podcast before, unfortunately, Kirstie Alley.
I was gonna say, which is our best movie that we've seen? Is it? I haven't seen a movie that I've liked Kirstie Alley in since. Anyway.
Yeah, there was what was it? Look Who's Talking Now.
Yes, she's in the Look Who's Talking series.
Yeah,
she's in all of them.
She's in all of them. That's the big one.
Yes.
But this movie,
that's what she's known for.
That's what she's known for.
That's her all-star role. Honestly, It almost might be.
Might be.
That almost might be.
I need some drugs.
But this movie also has a lot of your 80s character bit actors that you know from other films.
Yes, there's a lot.
Which I think is the big thing.
There's a lot of really interesting firsts, debuts in this, which is really weird. The one that got me was Richard Stephen Horvitz, who you probably don't know the name of, but you might recognize him as Rasputin or Raz from Psychonauts, but also Zim from Invader Zim, and all kinds of different, various voice acting chops, just tons and tons and tons of things like that.
If you've heard one of those characters, you know exactly the voice that he does. Yeah. And it's oh, that's just him. And
this was his first movie.
And when you hear him in this movie, you're oh, that's him. That's that guy.
I only have a few days to become a psychonaut or I lose my shot forever.
Also, one thing I noticed as a bit of a... Oddly enough, this movie does have an obsession with 80s horror, although more 70s horror, I think.
More 70s.
But 80s horror...
And mostly just one movie only.
Mostly the one film. But there's an actress, Kelly Jo Minter, who is our driving challenged / dyslexic character.
Dyslexic?
For some reasons, they needed to shoehorn as many lessons in as they could in one movie. But she's, I think, for me anyways, more better known as one of the main kids from A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, the Dream Child.
Yes, She's
that
okay,
person.
I'm glad that we both remembered her from,
I remember that's exactly where I saw her from. I'm like, oh, I know that actress.
God.
And yeah, there's tons of other just random weirdos. If you have not seen Summer School, first of all, congratulations.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you. How did you accomplish this in your life?
I'd love to get some notes because I feel like I've made a bad choice or two that I managed to actually get this.
Watching this movie is like going to remedial English.
It's a really weird thing that you have so many characters shoehorned in to be Saturday morning special, like, I changed their students' lives moments, like dyslexia kids and all these kinds of things.
It has all the same problems of this type of film. Like, Revenge of the Nerds has this problem, where it does all this, like, life lesson stuff and then all the pervy, weird, gross shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, while also still being like, hey, what if, like, one of the teen girls that's 16 wanted to fuck Mark Harmon?
Right?
What? No.
Because yeah, this was a big thing in these teen comedies in the 80s. And you would look at this film, and there would be the worst person you've ever heard of online saying, you can't make movies like Summer School anymore, or Revenge of the Nerds. And what they're talking about isn't like the, whoa, dude bros at a frat drinking. They're talking about that you can't have the creepy 16-year-old hitting on the 30-whatever, 40-whatever teacher.
Yeah.
Or in Revenge of the Nerds case, the gross rape scene.
Yes.
Those are the things you can't put in movies anymore. And you know what? They're right. And it shouldn't be in that film.
Mm-hmm. To be fair to this movie, although I don't know that it's a lot of props, it tends to not be that gross. Like, it has a few things, but it's nowhere near, like, when you're talking about Revenge of the Nerds, and you're talking about Porky's, and you're talking about shows like that, those things are just non-stop sex crimes, right? Like, they are unbelievably disgusting that way.
This sets those up, and then tries to sidestep it. I think it wants to have both. It wants to have both, is the problem. Because it sets up the gross scene, and then it's like, well, actually, that's bad. And if they had a teacher that could help, give them guidance, then they would be... Like, it tries to take the higher ground. Yes. The situation.
It doesn't work, but at least it's not, like, straight out fucking total garbage, like, sex crime stuff. Like, to be fair, it's weird because it's still bad. It's so strange because the idea is, like, we're talking about the one teen that wants to, get
Surfer
with Mark
girl.
Harmon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she's talking about, like, oh, well, I'm real mature. I'm 16. And the movie is going like, well, no, this is bad. And Mark Harmon's character realizes it's bad and is, like, not encouraging it and telling her no and all this kind of stuff. But then it's like, well, then why is this in the movie? And the answer is what sucks. Because the answer is, well, we think that our audience will really like it.
We think our audience will get into it, and they really like the idea of Surfer Girl becoming a trad wife.
Yes.
At 16.
Yes.
So it can make awkward situation when the teacher he's been hitting on the whole movie shows up.
So, you're all alone.
And you like young girls.
21.
I'm 16. And you should consider because there's like no difference between 21 and 16. She's 66. I'm only 61.
I'll be 75
and it won't matter anyway.
You ever
I'm becoming that kid that's always puking and things.
You ever have your skeleton crawl out of your body trying to escape a film?
Oh,
That's me right now.
well, he's got a girlfriend and she's got a boyfriend.
That's a whole thing too. Like, where's the moral ground in this film? Is it just degeneracy? I guess
It doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist because they make it seem like, oh well, obviously he's allowed to get with her because his girlfriend's gone to Hawaii.
Right.
But it's like, what does that?
I guess let's talk about that a bit. So at the beginning of the movie, Shoop is our coach, played by Mark Harmon.
Yeah.
He's like a gym class coach. He doesn't actually teach any like classes that aren't physical, right?
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the summer, I guess, the teacher that was going to teach remedial English wins a lottery ticket for $50,000, which is enough to get him through the summer without working. So he tells the principal to fuck off and then leaves.
I won!
Is this
Calvin,
something?
I did it.
Is this anything?
I did it. Look at this puppy. 50,000 big ones. You know what this means? No summer school.
Wait a minute. You gave me your word.
That was the old word. My new one is money.
A man of your integrity
Making a lot
will
of
let a mere
sense.
50 grand weaken his commitment to education. I have seen lesser men win millions in the lottery, go right back to bussing tables.
They're friggin' morons!
Okay, man. That guy's awesome.
50 grand. What is it gonna do? Peace, bitch. And just leaves. Well, I'm not an idiot. I won't blow it like that.
So the head admin, I guess, because he's not the principal.
He's the vice principal.
Vice principal.
It's
yeah. But he needs to find somebody. So he goes from teacher to teacher. That's all like, bro, I'm on vacation. It's summer. Fuck off.
They're all like speeding out of the parking lot to avoid him. Yeah.
In comical cartoon fashion. And then he finds the most comical character ever, Mark Harmon, playing somebody else. But he's like, oh, that's Mark. That's a joke of a person.
Hey, Mark Harmon can teach this. I've seen him teach all of the like goth schoolgirls in NCIS. He shows them how to hack.
He sure. Wait, was he in NCIS? I didn't watch NCIS.
He's the main dude.
He's
in
the hack
NCIS.
guy. Oh my god.
No, he's like the. He's
just
the main
the guy.
character. He's like he's the guy that unplugs the monitor when they're being hacked because he's showing all of the. He's the.
Is that how you stop hackers?
Yes, in NCIS, where it's for boomers that don't understand it, and they're like, oh, look at all these technical idiots, they don't understand you can just unplug the monitor to stop the hack. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, the vice principal forces him into taking
also,
summer
if you haven't
school.
seen... One second, though. If you haven't seen that scene, you need to look up NCIS hacking, because then you'll understand. It's classic. You should have seen it. If you haven't, go check it. Go ahead.
No way. I'm getting hacked.
A port scan?
No, this is major. They've already burned through the NCIS public firewall.
Well, isolate the node and dump them on the other side of the router.
I'm trying. It's moving too fast.
Oh, this is not good. They're using our connection to the Infus database. Sever it.
I can't. It's a point attack. He or she is only going after my machine.
It's not possible. This is DoD level 9 encryption. It would take months to get built.
Hey, what is that, video game?
No, Tony, we're getting hacked.
If they get in Abby's computer, the entire NCIS network is next.
I can't stop him. Do something, McGee.
I've never seen code like this. Where'd it go, Abby?
I didn't do anything. I thought you did.
No.
I did.
But he forces him into it after the dog snitches that he's behind the bushes.
Yeah,
already
bad dog.
Already one
bad
point
dog.
away from this dog.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, there is a dog in summer school.
There is a dog.
Barely, but it exists.
We'll get to the dog. We'll get to the dog. I think there's some dog.
But anyway, so he gets him to do this because Shoop is about to get tenure. And if he gets kicked out or whatever, loses his job, he won't get tenure. I don't know.
Sure, some bullshit.
May I remind you, Mr. Shoop, you're up for tenure. You want a job next year?
He's being basically blackmailed and coerced into doing this course and skipping his Hawaiian vacation with his girlfriend, who goes off on vacation without him anyways, and he's real mad about it to the point where he's willing to cheat on her, which is cool and good.
Yeah, it shows what an awesome dude he is. And when we say he's willing to cheat on her, so he gets told that he has to still teach them. His girlfriend drives off in the car, and he has to walk right back into the school and start work immediately, where he walks into Kirstie Alley 30 seconds later and goes, "Hey, you look kind of hot.
Hey, is it okay if I sexually harass you at work for the next, 3 months?
The answer from this movie will surprise you.
It's quirky. Wow. Anyways, so he goes into the class. You're introduced to all the characters. Like any school movie, everybody needs to have a gimmick. There's the nerd, the jock who wears the sluttiest clothing in the whole film, outside of one other character who is even sluttier.
God damn it, you stole my joke where I was going to talk about at least that this movie has equal opportunity sluttiness, where there's the crop top football dude and there's stripper kid.
I think the guys are sluttier than the girls in this movie.
Oh yeah, they're constantly wearing like booty shorts. Like the cops that arrest them on the beach are wearing booty shorts.
Those are
they look like Reno 911.
I was going to say they look like Reno 911 joke characters, just wearing sexy booty shorts in the background for no reason.
Like, all the guys are, like, these slutty surfer dudes wearing, like, their shirts with, like, pulled down, like, through their stuff, like they're wearing...
And they're just, like, constantly touching their chest and...
Booty shorts. Yeah, even the one dude that's... there's two burnout kids that are always drunk.
The two drunk kids that always are talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre and giving movie reviews on their podcast... somehow rating the dog at the end of every... Fuck.
Shit.
Fuck.
One of them, like, near the end of the movie, he's just sitting there having a conversation about their test, and he just, like, unbuttons his shirt, like, 2 buttons down, and starts rubbing his chest.
For no reason.
In the middle of this conversation, and you're like, what's this a choice? What's happening here?
There's a course, couple, one of which is a lady who is pregnant, who will definitely not give birth during the test later, because it's very obvious what they've set up.
Yeah, and she's the couple with the slutty crop top.
Slutty crop top quarterback.
Football dude, yeah.
There's sleepy guy, who's very sleepy, and there's a mystery to be solved there, which is... It gets real weird, for some reason. I don't know why they made it weird.
One thing, at one point in the movie, it was the only thing that I was grasping onto, where I was like, okay, I'm kind of intrigued, because I thought that was just going to be a joke, right? Like, where it was just, at the end of the movie, he'd wake up, do the test, and pass.
But that wasn't the joke.
And then that wasn't, but then they started doing like, oh, it's a mystery, because he woke up and, like, left at night, and it's like, oh, I've got a thing to do, and I was like, oh, wait, are they actually going to do a plot with that? And I was, like, mildly interested. Like I said, grabbing to it like it was a fucking lifeline. I'm in the middle of the ocean, but...
Please have something that happens in this movie, please.
Yes. Please. Because as you'll notice, we get all of these characters.
There's driver's tests and a bunch of other random kids, yeah. But there's
all
also a tall kid who needs to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this gigantic dude. He's huge. That dude is he's massive. Yeah. But yeah, he just has to go to the bathroom, and they give him a hall pass, which we'll get to that. But as you'll notice, we've introduced all of these characters, and they all have their problems. But there hasn't been a problem known as a plot.
there hasn't been a plot. The only I don't know, like, dash of a plot, hint of a plot, a small, like a LaCroix of a plot.
Just, yeah.
You know, like, barely anything of flavor.
The trad wife 16-year-old putting in some salt.
Yeah, that surfer girl who wants to be trad wife is, yeah.
Yes.
But, so there's, the only hint is that he might lose his tenure if the kids don't pass remedial English. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
But like,
I don't know the stakes. I don't
not...
care about his tenure. Who gives a shit?
That's such a minor plot. And I mean, it is so little plot that he even multiple times is just like, that's all right. I'll just leave and go to another job.
Yeah, he can just find another school.
Early on,
yeah,
he dismisses it as almost nothing right away.
Yeah. Oh, you know what other was it Sister is like this movie too? That's the Whoopi Goldberg nun movie that's in a
Sister Act.
Or Sister Act. That's the one I'm thinking of.
I'm like, what are you Sister? What the
that's
fuck
a different
are you talking about?
That's a show. That's a show.
Yes,
Sister Act is the Whoopi Goldberg movie.
Are you sure it was her? I mean, maybe it was somebody that looked like her. Right, Tia. Maybe she has an identical twin sister she doesn't know about. Like that could ever... It was her, okay?
Motherfucker said Sister, the Whoopi Goldberg film.
Get him. Fucking
Bob
get him.
Marley's Christmas Ghost. What the hell's going on?
One of us has to be the Rich Evans of this podcast after 215
and
episodes.
We pass it back and forth. The Rich Evans baton constantly gets shipped between us.
For some reason, also, they bring in an Italian exchange student to learn about Italian horror films. But
they don't.
But they don't
do that. That's the good joke. That would be the good thing that they could do with it.
But so here's a question.
Instead, it's just she's sexy.
She's just sexy and she likes horror. But so it's a remedial English course, summer school. Mm-hmm. Why is there an Italian exchange student here? She didn't take the test. She didn't go to school yet. She wouldn't start school until the school year started.
But she's sexy.
Why is she here? Who wrote this trash?
Boix, she's sexy. Okay, actually, I do know who wrote this trash.
Okay.
And the answer will not surprise you.
Uh-huh.
Because the person that wrote this trash, I looked this up and I was saving it for you. You know how everything resolves into a Saturday morning special?
I do,
like,
yeah.
Every single plot line gets unbelievably tropey garbage, like, oh, we all want to just hug, and aren't these kids just going places? It's Jeffrey Franklin, also known as the creator of ABC sitcom Full House and its Netflix sequel, Fuller House.
I can see the Full House.
Oh my Lanta!
Yeah, I can see the Full House in this, yeah. Anyway, so all the characters are introduced, including the movie podcast idiots, who are not like us. And I want you to stop. I'm not owned. Stop saying I'm owned. So Shoop, our coach, our teacher, just doesn't give a shit. And is like, I don't want to be here, you don't want to be here. We're both fucking stuck. I'm being blackmailed. Let's just make the best of this, okay? How about we take, I don't know, field trips? And he takes the whole class to the place where all the cool 80s high schoolers want to go.
Oh, hell yeah.
The petting zoo.
Fuck, yeah. Wait, can you touch, like, some goats?
To go, like, pet goats and bunnies.
Hell, bunnies, too?
Yeah, bunnies.
Shit.
He also takes them to Knott's Berry Farm. That was the roller coaster ride and stuff that they were on.
Yes.
I didn't hear one character say, my butt's too big to sit in the seat. That's me yelling.
That's me yelling. God.
But I knew that was Knott's Berry Farm.
That's because the big kid went to the bathroom the whole time.
Yeah, Shaq wasn't there. That's true. And then they go to the beach so they can get the teenagers in the skimpy swimsuits, I guess. Swimsuits. Because of course.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I mean, so this movie is supposed to be for teens, but there's a lot of gross ogling of what is supposed to be 16-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
So the principal finds out that the coach, Shoop, has been not actually teaching them anything. The vice principal threatens to suspend him.
Wait.
Which is what he wants anyways. But then he's like, wait, what if I become a teacher and actually have a plot? And that's when they give but if even one person in your class fails, then you lost your job, bucko.
Oh my god, there's stakes? They finally did it. They did it, boys. How long did that take?
Like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Of nothing.
Yeah. I checked it. It was 35 minutes in when we actually got to, like, some stakes for it. Because before that, he's just fucking around. Because they say, like, oh, well, you'll lose tenure. And you're like, okay, well, this is kind of, sort of, like, the thinnest layer of plot on this piece of toast. Like, we put a little bit on it. A little butter on it. But then it's just like, oh, why don't we just go to petting zoos? And you're like, never mind. No, there's zero tension.
There's nothing,
okay,
there's nothing.
But now he cares.
Ship goes back to the class. He's like, hey, look, buckos. If you don't pass this test, then I lose my job. Do you want me to lose my job? And the kids are like, yeah, sounds good.
Sure, whatever.
So again, they don't give a shit.
Well, why would they?
They shouldn't.
Like, it's all the delinquent 16-year-olds. Who gives a fuck?
And then Shoop has a good idea. Like, what if I bribe them? Okay, well, what do you want? What can I give you? What can I give you monetarily or physically to get you to do this fucking test? So the kids form a union, like the Teamsters.
This was one of the actual good moments for a second.
And they start negotiating a contract of getting one wish each from Shoop.
Yep.
Where he has to give up his summer and all of his free time and his money and his personal belongings.
You called this in a really, really perfect way a long time before that when they first started introducing these kids. You're like, okay, well, there's not going to be a plot. The only plot will be he goes to every single kid in the class and solves their individual quirkiness and fixes things for them. And now here's the setup and payoff of I'm going to solve all their individual quirkiness and get those tiny little vignettes.
It feels like a first draft of somebody's, like, college writing, I don't know. Like, here's your project for the year that you need to finish. Write a short story. Because everything about it just, it's so by the books and not interesting. And
it's incredible how tropey it is. Like, tropes exist. I hate to say that in a way, because I will say tropes get a bit of a bad rap in that people will like, oh, you should write a thing without any tropes in it. It's like, no, bullshit. Tropes work for a reason. There's a reason that they're there. A lot of times they work and they're really good shortcuts and like good ways to draw people in quickly, and they do a lot of good leg lifting for a lot of good stories. There's tons of stories that we love that are full of tropes. But this is just so reductive of all of them. Like, you said, like, 5 minutes in, watching the class, you're like, okay, so that's just the movie then, huh? The sleepy kid has to figure out what he's doing at night. Like, you know, the two drunk kids, he's got to, like, do their party thing. Like, the, you know, girl that's pregnant, he's going to have a talk to. Like, and like, yep, like, every single step along.
Like, I wrote the movie in the first 5 minutes of watching it.
Yeah.
There's
you know
nothing,
exactly the rest of it.
Nothing happened to really surprise me outside of the sleepy kid, but I didn't like the surprise.
No, that's not a good surprise. No.
Anyway, so they all get their one wish, and to quote them, it is both fair and reasonable, their asks of this man.
I think these are fair and reasonable requests.
Are they?
We'll show up.
Are they? Are they though?
Yeah, we'll even do a little homework. Is this contract acceptable to labor?
No doubt.
Yeah. Does management agree?
You sure I'm management?
Uh-huh.
So what did they ask for that's fair and reasonable of his time? That's the question, right?
We would like to underage drink.
Fair
and reasonable. I would like you to teach me everything about how to drive. Oh god, what are the rest?
Chainsaw and Mark asked to be.
Well, that was the underage drink.
They asked for 3 things because they also stole one kid.
Mostly underage drinking.
It was mostly drinking. They asked for a party, and they asked to be personally chaperoned to work and back every single day.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Sleepy guy wanted a bed, I guess.
Well, because the guy just made up.
He just made up shit. Yeah.
He's just sleeping.
All that stuff. So they all ask for things that are like a huge chunk of his fucking time.
Oh yeah, absolutely absurd asks. Things that you could never possibly do, while also trying to do things like a lesson plan to teach these kids.
Surfer Girl wants to stay at his house because she's 16 and she's flirting with him the whole time.
Yep.
And that's gross.
And he says yes, because, you know... he doesn't... See, whoa.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He doesn't want to get with her. But you, the audience, maybe
No.
But that's the implication, and I fucking hate that so much.
Ugh.
Right?
It was very gross, is what it was.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's pandering to what they think the audience wants, and it's an insult to what you are, right? Because it's like, I think that you'll like this underage teen girl. I'm like, no. Nope.
So
do not.
So they have a house party at his house. By the way, there have been multiple teachers who've been fired for having house parties with their students drinking at the party. This is a thing that has happened, and it's very bad. And to show this in a good light in this film is fucking weird.
Yeah, like I said, it's really, really illegal.
It feels like somebody's it's like one of those power fantasy things, but it's for like weird fucked up people.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that happens. His couch gets set on fire by the dog who carries a firework back in, thinking it's a stick, and that is a good dog.
What a good boy.
That is a good dog.
What a good boy.
They kill his fish by throwing the fishbowl to set out the water on the couch. And then the next day, he's like, wow, that party was great. I had a 16-year-old hitting on me, my couch was set on fire, and my place is trashed. Y'all want to watch a movie?
What else do you want to do?
So he pulls out Texas Chainsaw Massacre on a projector reel and plays, I think 48 seconds is what I counted, of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's not a real person. It's a stunt man. Okay, now this right here isn't going to bother him because he's insane, okay?
So this is an interesting factoid.
Sure.
When this movie came out, this is still during the era of Silent Night, Deadly Night, and the we need to get that sick filth out of cinema of the UK.
This is 87.
87. They cut out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre scenes because it was still illegal to show that in UK.
Amazing.
So they keep constantly referencing Texas Chainsaw in this movie, and they had to cut out the actual showing of it because it was too graphic.
You can't have the video nasties.
It was too violent. But that leads to the question of later on, when they do all the movie gore effects, that was fine?
Is that okay?
Apparently that was not sick filth in the UK. Just the actual Texas Chainsaw Massacre you can't show. And I think that's super weird, but also an interesting concept of like, what is
gore?
What is gore?
Yeah,
what is violent?
What is violence?
The people that were putting those laws through were fucking stupid.
Oh yeah, no, because that's interesting, because basically I see their logic in that, because later on to prank a new substitute teacher, they all dress up in gore like it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they have like this big extended scene of like kids that are hung from the ceilings and like severed arms and all these kinds of different gore things, like gut
fingers,
disembowelments,
tongues.
like
yeah,
eyes ripped out. Like it's pretty nasty. But I think that what it is that it's portrayed as, oh, this is movie gore. And so in this, it's showing it as like, oh, see, that's not
like,
real.
And
they're saying that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is portrayed as real, and that's the line. But then what's funny is that it's like, well, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not a fucking documentary. It's still a movie.
Like the video nasty is what it was called, by the way.
Yes,
the video nasties, the censorship of the 80s and the extreme. Why is Summer School the movie that is getting me to talk about this?
Because there's nothing else to talk about.
But like the extreme look at like, we need to stop this nasty filth from being shown to our pure innocent populace. But then they're allowing that stuff in the same movie is so fucking weird.
It's really funny.
It's so
it
weird.
It shows a really weird logic to it that I can see where the logic is, not that it makes more sense.
Mhm.
It's just very, very funny that they can, like, abstract it that way for this, but then they can't abstract it that way for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? Like,
Yeah.
well, this is just a movie. They're obviously referencing a movie, so it's not actual gore. And it's like, well...
what are you
one's a
talking?
movie too, you dumb motherfucker.
But the effects they're using are the same effects. It's high quality gore.
It's arguably, I'd say it looks better.
It might even be better than the 70s, like Texas Chainsaw.
Like,
yeah,
the gore in this is actually really good, which is
fucking weird
stupid.
to say
God,
for
it's so
summer
fucking
school.
Weird.
Yeah,
for summer school. Yes.
Anyways, we take a short break after that to watch a dog eat some peanut butter on the beach.
Yes. Thank you.
Finally.
These are the brief moments where he's, like, feeding his dog, like, he's, like, licking peanut butter out of a jar and then giving, like, the dog some of it back and forth. Man, I was so in for that. That was by far the best moments of these movies.
You were falling asleep and then the dog showed up. You're like, huh? What? Huh?
Dog?
What?
Oh, that good boy's getting some peanut butter.
How long was I out? What year is it?
Oh, man.
Oh my god, that dog wants peanut butter.
You give that peanut butter to that dog.
Oh, look at that dog. Wants peanut butter.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
That's the good shit.
Who's to say if this movie's good or bad? There's a dog getting peanut butter. That is pretty gross, though.
That is really gross. But also, oh, look at the peanut butter.
Yeah, peanut butter.
Oh. But then it hard cuts from dog getting peanut butter to girls' night at the guy strip club, where our ostensibly teenage male stripper, who is basically just in a thong, is
in a G-string,
is wandering around. This man is in his 30s and is supposed to be 16.
Yeah, he's 29 or 30 when this movie came out. I looked it up,
which is very funny.
I had to look at it immediately because all of them are very overage. But the minute I saw him, I'm like, holy shit, like, he had, like, incredible 5 o'clock shadow and, like, wrinkles around his eyes. And, like, this dude's gotta be, like, 30. Like, what the fuck? He looks so much older even than all the other overage students. I'm like, yep, he basically is. It's amazing. It's so miscast.
But he can't pay attention during class because he's been stripping at night, I guess. But
that's the mystery.
And like
I
that's
stayed
stupid.
awake for that part.
That's stupid. But what's even dumber is,
fuck,
why was Shoop there? Like, Shoop just showed up and is like, hey, I'm just here for guys' night, which good for him, or girls' night. I just want to see the guys strip. Like, good for him. But then he's like, wait, I know you. You're my student. Which means
that was the weird
So
thing.
he wasn't there for his student. He just happened to be there.
They could have just had him go, oh, this is where he's going, and made it seem like he had followed that kid.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, to find out what his deal was. But instead, they made the conscious decision to do the opposite. And be like, wow, I just happened to be wandering through this strip club on girls' night, and then there's this kid. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, why is that the decision?
For the record, as a bisexual, there's nothing wrong with going to girls' night to look at a hot guy strip. I mean, in this case, he's a high schooler, so there is something wrong.
There's something very wrong.
That is extremely wrong.
Extremely wrong.
But the idea of just doing that is fine. I just don't know why he was there.
It's just so... Well, the thing is that they're portraying him not as that.
Yeah,
right?
the whole
Like,
film,
he's
he's a very hetero guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they even make a couple jokes about that.
They do.
They do the kind of...
They do the gay joke, but, like, not really.
They're not offensive.
Yeah.
The gay joke that they make isn't offensive because... Anyway, it's just the one dude, he goes like, oh, you're not gay? And he goes, no, I'm super heterosexual. And he goes, oh, well, that's cool. Like, that's the joke that they do. And it's like, what?
Okay.
What? That's... Okay. Like, they make it very...
casual.
And it's like, oh, was that supposed to be a gay joke? And you're like, I don't know. Like, there's nothing offensive about it. It's just like a very matter-of-fact conversation. But anyway, the problem is it's so incongruous. It would have been weird if he had followed the student there because it's such a hard cut Because like you said, it just goes from him feeding peanut butter on the beach to him watching a teenager at a strip club.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, it's like there's nothing in between.
It had to be a
so
cutscene, right? It had to be a cutscene. There's
but why
no
would
way.
they have cut it? Because
there's some scene where he's like sitting out on the beach and he sees that guy walk by or something. He's like, "Oh, what's that?" And it's too late at night, so he starts following him. Like that has to be the scene that was missing. But
I'd guess,
but I don't get it.
They should have kept that in because it just makes zero sense. It's such a fucking wild jump.
So after that, and we find that out, he goes back to class. He starts like talking to all the kids, like, "Hey, give that guy a break. He strips at night. It's fine. Who gives a shit?"
Yeah,
I guess. And all the other stuff happens with the surfer girl that's gross and weird. But he finds out about the dyslexia girl who has dyslexia.
This is what I was going to bring up.
You can go ahead then.
Just that you were talking about incongruities and things like that, and how it doesn't make sense. Like, why does he just show up there? Why are these things happening? And there's so much just, well, we've got to solve all these kids' problems, so I guess he's just there because he needs to be. And the dyslexia thing is just an unreal example of that. Because this is the girl that asked him for help with her driving test.
Mm-hmm. And also,
and
she wouldn't show her papers to him after she wrote them, is the other thing.
She wouldn't. And at one point, she shows it to the, nerd kid.
Mm-hmm.
And the nerd kid goes, "Oh my god, oh, this is so important." And you're like, okay, so she's got, a family problem or something like
I was assuming it was very bad. Like, family at home issues.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And instead, it's like, "Oh, I'm going to show it to the teacher, but you can't tell her that I showed it to you." And it's just that it's written poorly. Which is, they're in remedial English.
Yeah. But
that's kind of the point.
But then he confronts her and he's like, "What you have is a disease called dyslexia, and it's very bad, and you need to get medical help.
You need to get help for it." And it's like,
what?
You're the teacher. That's your job. And then he's like, "Promise me you'll go and find somebody that will help you." And she goes, "Okay, I promise." And then it's never talked about again.
I guess.
It's just done as this Saturday school special in the middle of the film. And it wraps up in because it goes, he sees the paper and goes, "Oh my god, this is really bad." Goes and talks to Kirstie Alley, who's a good teacher, and she goes, "Oh, she's dyslexic." And then it cuts immediately to him talking to her and going, "So I think you're dyslexic, you need help. And promise me you'll get help." "Okay, fine.
But I'm not going to do it."
No. And then "Okay, fine, I'll go and find help me, myself, at 16 or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And then it just ends that. That's the end of that plot line. It wraps up in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing here? There's already no plot. At least go somewhere with this.
He also gets arrested for covering for Chainsaw and Mark for drinking at some point.
Mm-hmm. One of the kids is nicknamed Chainsaw.
Because he's into chainsaw, you get a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Anyway, so he is going to take the kids to court for some reason. I still don't know why.
Because his court date's in the middle of the day.
So I guess maybe he's their chaperone and they have to come with him. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, so other things happen. It's also pointless. The sleepy kid shows up to school awake and he's like, "Hey, sleepy kid, what happened with your job?" He's like, "Oh, I lost my job because they found out I was underage stripping." And
because my mom
mom showed up, and specifically she put money in my underwear, and my aunt open mouth kissed me.
What's wrong with you?
I got fired. They found out my real age.
Hey, I didn't say a word.
No, it's all right. My mom.
Your mother?
It was a nightmare. And before she knew who I was, she put $5 in my G-string. And then my Aunt Edna, she kisses me. With tongue. And rips off my mask. And Mom freaked out. She made me put on.
Freaked out, but I was super into it. Turns out I love incest. What are you talking about?
And once a guy hits 18.
Because they need to throw in incest for some reason. and then just go right past it. For some reason.
I'd also like to just go right past it. Moving on.
So then all this stuff happens, and the kids are like, wow, we got all this stuff from you, and we took advantage of you for like a month and a half. This is great. But we're going to need to renegotiate our terms and get more, because we're like greedy little fuckers.
I love that you're saying all this stuff happened, and we're just going past it, when there's really not anything that happened, because the plot lines are all like the dyslexia one that I'm
like nothing. It was all pointless.
They all resolve in 30 seconds.
Yeah, but so then Shoop's like, you know what? Fuck this. All of you are fucking assholes. I quit.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah.
Wow. Consequences.
No shit. So then, yeah, they bring in the substitute teacher. They do the gore Texas Chainsaw thing. This scene hits way different nowadays. After Columbine, and after all the fucking school shootings over the last, 20, 30 fucking years. Like,
in 87 it works. In 2025 it's fucking weird.
Like, you have a student run out into the hallway covered in blood saying, don't go in there. They walk in and it's just gore and blood and guts everywhere. That is not the same situation nowadays.
It reads so bad.
It's like, oh, are they... If this was a film that came out today, it's not, you can't make a film like this anymore. It's like, oh, there was a school shooting.
Yeah.
That's not... Anyway, I didn't like the scene.
No, it was really... Like, 'cause she runs out into... It's one thing... Most of it's not, like... It's kind of comical slasher gore, right? But also, at the start of it, for sure, the way that she runs out into the hall, just covered in blood and screaming, is not... It reads so bad. It reads so bad.
There's so much in this film that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they scare off the substitute teacher, and then in their gore makeup, they go and hang out and find Shoop at the beach, who's been drinking with his dog. All covered. They're still covered in their gore makeup. They're like, hey, Shoop, we talked to the vice principal, and we, negotiated a deal so you can come back and do your job again.
He wants you to come back, and it's like, he should say that then.
One, the vice principal should say it. Two, I don't want to fucking go back.
Right?
What are you talking about? You all are fucking assholes.
Why is he going back with them? Well, because then it's beautiful this way. Like, that's why.
Because the plot has to have something happen.
Well, and also that it's like, it's not just the plot has to have something happen too, though. There's also that, it's that smarmy, it's the Full House effect. Like, knowing that this writer is the Full House writer, it's like, oh, everything has to wrap up with everybody giving each other big hugs and how awful, how nice and everything is, right? Like, oh, we all love each other ultimately. We really hang together. It's got that undertone through everything that's just, smarminess. I don't know. It's just, ugh.
Something, yeah. But
sweet, gross kind of...
Shoop goes back, the kids all study. So there's a montage of them studying, then a montage of them taking the test, where all the kids do stupid, the ones that haven't wrapped up their crap yet are wrapping up their crap, including kid who needs to have a child, because she's pregnant. So she gives birth during the test. And then it hard cuts to the test being over, to sometime in the future.
Yes.
I guess.
She's having the kid during the test, and that's how they end the test. And then it shows her, unpregnant. Fine. She's just so you're like, wait, is this a week later, a month later? You don't just... Is it the afternoon after the test? They kind of portray it almost like that. And you don't just have a child and then walk out of the hospital that day, flat-bellied and talking to your friends and hanging out.
And then all the friends are like, yo, when are we gonna see the little tyke? Well, about that, you see, I've decided it's not my time to be a mother. I'm gonna give my child up for adoption so I can live my life.
Yeah.
Wow, you're so strong. Fuck off.
That vibe again.
Fuck off.
There is one good thing that we missed in here. There's one joke that I think we both...
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead.
Alright, we had basically forgotten, because they never really bring it up again. there was the really, really big kid that went, yo, I need a bathroom pass. And he never showed up again. Until the test happens, and he comes back and passes in his bathroom pass and sits down. He's where were you? I had to go to the bathroom.
For 6 weeks or whatever. Like, that's a
Fuck
joke.
yes,
That's a
the
good
one joke. It's the one joke that works.
And then, of course, he's the kid that does the best on the test.
Yes.
Which is funny.
Which is like, see, and that's a trope, but it works.
Yeah.
Because it's just quick and snappy.
So
that was good.
So, of course, everybody basically fails the test. There's like 3 people that pass, and everybody else does miserable. So they bring in, Shoop to the principal's office, and the vice principal's like, I want you to fire this fucko.
Yeah.
And the principal's like, oh, don't worry, I will, but only after I bring in all of the parents one by one. Come on in, everyone. And then there's the Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers, and Godzilla's there too, and also Mega Man.
This is like a self-parody, right? Where it's, the Mr. Smith goes to Washington, like, stand up and do an impassioned speech for these beautiful children. Everybody stand on your desks. Oh, Captain, my Captain, right? Like,
no, you see, I thought my son was a big, stupid fucking idiot who couldn't do anything, but when I saw him studying, I almost fucking cried. My heart was aching.
That was an amazing moment. That's a literal quote from one of the parents. I thought my child was always going to be an idiot, but then I saw him studying for 5 minutes and I was amazed.
No, you see, all these kids did fail, but look at the numbers. That kid had an 18, but today, a 43. That's still fucking bad.
That's still real improvement. And it's like,
no,
it's remedial English.
They need to retake the class next year. That's how this works.
That's still really bad. They still fucking failed remedial English. Like,
they're
not going to be
like,
literate.
Like the
God damn it.
The inspiring thing is, they improved, I guess. But the message is they didn't actually improve enough. He still was a bad teacher.
He was a terrible teacher. He got them drunk. He purposefully got them drunk.
And he was schmoozing on a 16-year-old.
And he got, arrested for covering for the kids being drunk on the beach? And he went to jail for it for a little while? No!
So anyway, he's like, you know what? That's a damn good teacher. You keep your job, bucko.
You get tenure.
Oh, we'll never fire you. But he hasn't gotten the girl yet. I mean, other than his girlfriend who's in Hawaii, which is assumed to be
still has.
Fucking dead, I guess.
Yeah, I mean...
She never shows up again.
So was their whole thing that they were going to go to Hawaii on vacation for the entire summer?
All summer, must be, yeah. They have a lot of money, you see, with his
teachers in the
coaching
80s
job.
really got... if there's one thing we know about the United States education system, it's how well they pay and treat their teachers.
Yeah, at some point before the test, he cut off the head of a doll and threw it in the ocean, which is a toy that the dog would constantly run after and grab, like a ball or something like that through most of the film. And then he keeps cutting to that dog at the beach, being very sad, looking for that toy. So at the end of the film, Kirstie Alley and Mark Harmon are wandering around the beach, and she's like, you know what, I'm really glad that you didn't give up, because you never give up. That's why you harassed me sexually for 3 months at a time when I told you I already had somebody, and you kept touching me inappropriately, and I find that so irresistible.
Oh my God. There's one thing women love, it's persistence in the face of being told no over and over.
Let's fall down on the sand and get washed over by the salt water of the beach.
Dirty, gross seawater in our wool sweaters. She's wearing a wool sweater. How is this? That's not sexy. That's uncomfortable.
And as they're smooching, the dog finds its toy in the ocean and grabs it, and then just slobbers all over both of them. As Mark
it literally licks their mouths.
As Mark Harmon is open mouth kissing this dog.
Yeah.
And then it ends.
The movie ends with open mouth kissing between Mark Harmon and the dog. Oh God. Why are they still
I don't know. Oh, gee, oh God.
No.
Bro.
No.
Bro. Why'd you make it weird?
That's the end credit scene. Full House. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So anyway, that was my trick.
I can't wait until we go to summer school.
Summer school. You know, at least it's not as bad as ski school. I don't think ski school has a dog. I don't think we have to watch ski school. Anyways, let's rate the dog. I don't know. The dog eats peanut butter, I guess. The dog is a snitch, though.
It's a tough one. Because that dog gets some peanut butter, but I don't know that dog deserves
The dog's a snitch? It does arson? I also would like to do arson against Mark Harmon in this film.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're giving me more positives than negatives there. That's a very cool crime, arson.
But ending the film on an open mouth kiss, kind of fucking weird.
I mean, it is with Mark Harmon, and you know he's sexy. That 16-year-old really wanted him.
I literally don't know how to... I'm gonna rate this dog as a barely passing grade on the test out of 10.
I'm giving this dog a better than Sherlock Bones out of 10 because it got more obvious peanut butter than any of the dogs that normally get peanut butter.
That's true.
And that's pretty damn good in my book.
You know, this dog didn't talk once in this whole film.
No.
That's pretty good.
But it did get a lot of peanut butter.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of our films have the opposite problem. They make the dogs talk, and they don't even do it by giving them peanut butter. Which is a travesty.
I also want to rate the show Psych, which is where I heard about this film.
0
out of 10. Fuck you. God damn it, Psych.
Thanks, Psych.
How could you do this to me?
I can't believe that, Fuck, wait, no, who's the actor? God damn it.
I'm not cutting this out. This is staying in.
I know, just, I can't believe that Tony Shalhoub would do us like this.
We got Shalhoubed.
Because that's the star of Monk, not Psych.
Yeah, I know, I get it. Anyways, so that's it for Rough Cuts this...
Fuck, I wish I was editing this one so I could make that better.
That's it for Rough Cuts.
I wish I could... Hey, you're gonna edit that so it's a joke, right?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
You'll get Jeff Franklin to like workshop that with you and figure out how to add in a nice ending for it. You know? The dog kissing me.
All I could get was Mark Harmon.
At least make it hot with the dog.
No, ugh. God, there's so many moments in this movie where I'm like, ugh.
Why do you have to make the dog hot? What? No, don't make the moment where the dog's kissing hot. Oh god.
Anyway,
it's like I did it for you, boss. I made the dog kissing scene real hot. No,
stop it.
No.
Rough Cuts. You can follow us on Blue Sky at Rough Cuts. You can email us at roughcutscast@gmail.com. You can, of course, subscribe to our Patreon if you want us to spend real-life money to watch films like Summer School and also buy real-life equipment.
HD.
I could have downgraded.
Watching it in 8D.
I could have downgraded for the same price to watch this in standard definition.
But then we wouldn't have seen that hot threesome action at the end of this in full definition.
This has gone off the rails.
I can't believe that they had the standard definition in HD is the same price. But we paid $4 real American dollars for this.
Yeah.
So if you can help us out on Patreon, that would be really, really nice. You can also email us, roughcutscast@gmail.com. We're on Blue Sky, roughcutscast. I think we said that. I don't know. We're off the rails. We're on the rails. Stick some peanut butter in my mouth. We're done.
Shoop, shoop-ba-doop, shoop-ba-doop, shoop-ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop. Anyway, I was making a Shoop joke, because his name's Shoop. Do you get it?
His name's Shoop Go Whoop.
No, not that one.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Fuller House again. Let's just... Oh, my Lanta.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Do you want a trick or a treat? It's not Halloween, but...
1 second. I'd like a trick. Fuck.
Alright, well.
Give me a trick. We've had some treats. It's okay for a trick.
In that case, let me... Bikini Crossing, Summer School.
No, it's got a dog. Okay,
There's
fine.
a cool dog with sunglasses, and it's got Mark Harmon, Kirstie Alley.
It is Mark Harmon. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. Oh, no. Wait, treat.
Kirstie Alley, you love her.
Treat! Give me the treat!
This was about as bad of a
Give me
treat as
the
I could
treat!
find. So the only reason I know about this, by the way, is because of the show Psych mentioned it once. In a joke like, oh god, what is it, fucking summer school or something? I'm like, oh no, what's summer school?